Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while since I made a video. Thank you very much for bearing with me and not unsubscribing and all that stuff. I just didn't have time, was very busy. Building a new PC at the moment, which is really exciting. Getting all the components sent to me at the moment, and I'm going to put it together. Maybe I'm going to make a video about this as well. If you want me to make a video on how I'm going to build my own or my next PC, then leave a comment down in the comment section below. But in today's video, I do not want to talk about building PCs. I want to talk about E3 2016 because it looks like it's going to be a really exciting conference this year. It's gonna happen from June 14th to June 16th in Los Angeles, obviously. And what I've done is I've basically created a small list of just some of the games and things that I'm expecting to see at this year's E3. It's obviously not everything. There's much more that's gonna come our way, but those are the things that I'm most excited about. I think at a later point I'm gonna make another video that is just talking about all the press conferences and what we can expect from all these different conferences. By the way, if my voice sounds a little bit weird, I'm a bit ill. I'm at home, so I'm not at work, and that's why I'm doing a video. So please forgive me if my voice doesn't sound as crisp as it maybe normally does. So let's go right into it, and I want to start off with something quite interesting, and I'm going to link this down in the description. I don't know if you saw this, but we all know it, at E3 we always get to see loads of gameplay demos, right? And I was always wondering, to what extent are these demos pre-recorded? To what extent are these demos actually played live? And I found this really interesting video that is basically a guy who got his hands on the Tom Clancy Future Soldier E3 demo. I don't know, it must be 4 or 5 years ago. But he just shows that you can't shoot certain enemies, they will not even be able to detect you, so the whole demo is like heavily manipulated in order for the guy who's going to play it live not to get shot and not to run into any unexpected situation. So it's quite interesting, this video. I'm going to link that down in the description. I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. But let's go right into the things that I expect to see at this year's E3. Firstly, I can't wait for Amy Hennig's Star Wars game. At this point, we don't even know the name of it. We have literally no idea. A lot of people are assuming that is basically a continuation of what Star Wars 1313 was, and I'm expecting the same. I mean, Amy Hennig, she did the Uncharted games, and it certainly feels like it's going to be some kind of third-person, single-player focused adventure Star Wars game. Where it's going to play, you know, whether it is still in, you know, in the lower levels of Coruscant or whatever, we don't know, obviously, but I just can't wait to see a bit more of it, and I think we're going to see it at this year's E3. The next thing on my list is the Nintendo NX, and I mean, we all can see it. The rumors are going crazy. Just about a week ago, I think we got like these fake images of the controller that looked really odd, kind of like an egg-shaped screen with like one button on each side. It looked really weird. It then turned out, you know, that it was all a fake and all. But I think at this year's E3, Nintendo is finally going to show what they have been working on, and you know, I just can't speculate about it anymore at this point. But I'm really curious to see where they're going to take it, and you know, what basically has been true from all the rumors that people were talking about. Hopefully we're going to see loads of new exciting VR games. Obviously that is PlayStation VR, and they're already launching, I think, what did they say, was 200 launch titles, or was it 100? Not even entirely sure, but they have quite a big library of games, and I think loads of them are just like very small mini games, but nonetheless they do have a quite impressive library of games that they're going to launch their device with. But nonetheless, I keep saying it every year, I want to see the killer app that sells me the VR headsets, you know, a game that only runs on VR that I look at and I'm like, okay, fuck me, I gotta buy a VR headset because I really want to play this game. I haven't seen this so far. Maybe I missed something. If this killer app has already been announced for you and you have this game that you can't wait to play and you're gonna spend this enormous amount of money on a VR headset just to play this one game, then please leave that down in the comment section below. I'd be curious to hear what that is for you. No Man's Sky on PlayStation VR. Sean Murray, who is kind of the PR guy and one of the brains behind No Man's Sky, was asked in an interview whether they're working on bringing No Man's Sky to PlayStation VR, and he was really like, I can't talk about it, and all I can say is it would be an amazing experience, right? So that's all he said about it. But it was pretty clear that they are working on it. He just can't talk about it. He probably has some kind of NDA that he signed. So I think this is going to be one of the big announcements for PlayStation VR, that we're going to get No Man's Sky on PSVR. But, personally, I'm not really that excited about it. I can't wait to play, No Man's Sky, but do I need to buy a VR headset to play it properly? Is it really going to add that much to the experience? I'm not sure, but I think we're going to see that announcement. We will obviously see the new Call of Duty. Rumors are that it will happen in space, and rumors are also that it will contain zombies, which is quite unusual because zombies in Call of Duty was always a Treyarch thing. Obviously, this year's Call of Duty is coming from Infinity Ward, but I have heard that it will contain zombies. Don't ask me where I heard it. It's kind of word on the street, but it seems pretty legit from the sources that I heard it from, that the next Call of Duty will happen in space and that there will be a zombie mod. And when I say it will happen in space, it doesn't mean that there will be like low gravity environments where you can jump 10 meters high and all that. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think they're going to bring it out into space, and then the actual battles, the actual gameplay might happen on different planets, right? So you might have a fight on Mars, and you might have a map that is on Pluto or Saturn or whatever it is. And I think the actual ground combat, the actual mechanic of how you play it will still be the same. It will still be a Call of Duty game. It will be unchanged, but the theme around it will be in space, and they're going to bring it to all these different planets. Now, is that a good thing? What can I say? I don't think so, because I recently watched this video from Jack Frags about why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 was such a great game, and he made some really interesting points in that video. I'll link that down in the description as well. He basically spoke about that the simplicity of the game was what made it great, and I couldn't agree more. You had just a few kill streaks, you had very limited abilities to customize your weapons, and it was a very, very balanced game. And I would hope, and I know it's a difficult task to do for a company like Infinity Ward, but that they take a step back nearly and simplify it, and just really focus on like simple gameplay mechanics again, rather than going all out and giving people clown colored weapons that glow in the dark and all that crap. But maybe I'm just an old man who kind of wishes to go back to all the previous times, and the actual youth, like the target audience of the new Call of Duty games, don't want that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's just personally for me, hearing that the next Call of Duty will be in space is a little bit like, it's not something you should do. Like for instance, the rumors around the new Battlefield game, Battlefield 4, happening in World War I. That gets me excited, right? Because it requires a simplification of the gameplay mechanics, right? Like using bolt rifles and not having like 1,000 attachments to your guns. You might still have elements of that, but I think they need to kind of boil it down to the core of the game if they want to bring something like that to life, like a World War I scenario. But it looks like Call of Duty is not going into that direction yet. It might be that 2017 we're going to get a Call of Duty that is scaled back a bit more, but who knows. The next game on my list is Titanfall 2. One of my personal favorites. Used to be a big fan of the first Titanfall. I can't wait to see where Respawn Entertainment is gonna take this, and I really hope that they don't change it too much, because I thought the first Titanfall worked so well. The mechanics, the levels, the maps. It will have a single player, we know that already, so that's quite exciting, but I really hope that they still keep the focus on the multiplayer, because it worked so well, and I'm sure they are also aware that a lot of people complained that the previous Titanfall basically didn't deliver enough for a full price game. I personally disagree with that, because now we get all these free DLCs and there are just so many maps that you can really justify a full price, but I understand that on launch it wasn't really delivering enough for the money it costed. But yeah, Titanfall 2 definitely on my list of the most exciting games that we will see. I think we're also going to see Destiny 2 being announced at this year's E3. I don't think they're going to launch it in 2016. It will definitely be the year after, something like, I don't know, spring 2017 or whatever it will be, because they still want to kind of exploit, quotation marks, the current players that play Destiny 1, and they want to sell them maybe a few more DLCs and just kind of suck as much money out of these existing players before they put a new game out. But I do think Destiny 2 will be something that we see. Now, the next game on my list is a big question mark. I think people would be really excited to get it, and I think there is a likeliness that we will see it. It is Red Dead Redemption 2. Rumors have been floating around, and normally when these kind of rumors float around and people say, yeah, well, I've heard from sources that we will get Red Dead Redemption 2, normally it turns out that these rumors are true. However, I don't know. Obviously, I can't tell you at this point, but I think people would be extremely excited to get Red Dead Redemption. And for me as a PC player, I can only hope that they don't make the same mistake that they made with Red Dead Redemption 1, which never came out on the PC. So I hope that at least Red Dead Redemption 2, if it will be announced, will be coming to the PC and not be exclusive to the consoles. Because to be honest, that is one of the big games that I never got to play because I don't own any console, and I regret it till this day. That I never could play, because I think it probably was completely awesome, and I spoke to friends who played it, and everyone just said it's like one of the best games ever made. I think it's Red Dead Redemption and The Last of Us are the two games, that really sold consoles and with these two exclusive titles, and I never got to play them, which is a real shame, but it's just two games, right? So I'll get over it. It's fine. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 might be coming or might be announced at this year's E3. Mass Effect Andromeda is the next one on my list. We already saw like teasers, and then there was on the 1st of April, which probably was an April Fool's joke, there was this really weird gameplay demo which showed some of the characters from the game. I don't think it was authentic. I think it was like a fan-made thing. But nonetheless, I really hope, and I'm pretty sure that this year we will see some proper gameplay, and it will hopefully give us a better idea of what the game is all about. Because they already said they're going to move it to a completely new direction, or in terms of like a completely new galaxy, and it's not about Shepard. It's a completely different time. Has nothing to do with the previous 3 games. So I'm quite curious where they're going to take it. But I'm such a big fan of the franchise. Mass Effect 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed all 3 games really. I think the second one was the best, but I can't wait where they're going to take this, and they've been working on that for such a long time, and it really just is time that they're going to show us a demo of this game. Now the next one is a little bit of a weird one. It's Recore. That game was supposed to be Xbox One exclusive when it was originally announced, but now Microsoft has come forward and said it will always come to Windows 10, which is great, which gives me the option to play it, and it looks quite cool. It somehow has like a bit of a Star Wars taste to it, if that makes sense, kind of an apocalyptic sand landscape, where you are this girl and you have this robot that hangs out with you. We don't know much about this game, what it will be all about, or at least I haven't seen much about it, but it certainly has like a really impressive and beautiful art style, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take it and what it will actually be. So I hope that we're going to see some gameplay, that we're going to get some mechanics, and hopefully, it will reveal a bit more about this game, because it certainly looks really, really exciting. And then the last thing on my list is this whole EA Play debate, and I made a video about that separately. I'm going to link that down in the description as well, but it's basically the fact that EA is not going to be on the show floor this year. Normally they have these really big impressive booths, but this year they're going to take it out of the E3 conference space and kind of create their own space somewhere in Los Angeles. I think they already announced the location. I don't know where it will be, which is a little bit odd, right? Because you have all the players, all the fans being at E3, and everyone's really excited, and then they move away from it. But I think EA just really wants to open themselves up to a new audience, right? And they want not these hardcore players who already know, because if you go to E3, then you already know the lineup of EA. There will probably be a new Battlefield, and there probably will be a new FIFA and all that. So I understand why EA is doing it. They want to be in a space where there are people who don't know these things and who go into this EA booth and might be surprised and say, oh, look, a new Battlefield. I didn't hear about that franchise for years, because obviously not everyone is following video game news as closely as we do. So I do understand where they're coming from, but nonetheless, it is quite a bold and slightly weird step that they do that, and I'm quite curious how that's going to turn out, whether it will be a success, or whether a lot of people are going to hate on it, or whether, for instance, they're going to have shuttle buses going from the E3 conference down to their dedicated space and back, so that players can easily go from A to B and also press. I don't know. It's quite curious, and it is quite interesting that they are doing this. So guys, this concludes my list. I'm sure there are a million more games that you might be excited about. Feel free to share all your thoughts down in the comment section below. What games are you most excited for this year's E3? I'm sure there are a million games that I forgot, but this was the list of games, you know, that I'm most excited about and that I really hope to see. And it's not only games, it's also like Nintendo's new console and all that. So it's quite exciting, and for me personally, just looking over that list that I just talked about, it looks to be like a really, really exciting E3 2016. And I hope you agree, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can subscribe to my channel. You can leave a like. If you hated the video, you can leave a dislike. Obviously, it's all down to you. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Bye.